Hi again. This is Anita from Luxe Insider, and I started my day at Watches and Wonders today at Parmigiani Fleurier. I have a meeting now with none other than the CEO, Mr. Guido Terreni. Let's discover what Parmigiani has unveiled this year. Of course, it's known for its tonda, but I'm sure there's much more to discover. Let's do that. So it's so wonderful to see you, Guido, again.
My pleasure seeing
Yeah,
you.
and this is fact start of the fair.
Yeah.
My first touch and feel has been with Parmigiani,
Oh,
and
great.
congratulations to the brilliant collection that you have launched.
Thank you.
Every time you think of Parmigiani, it's Tonda. So the first thing is Tonda PF. No, it's Toric Collection.
Yeah.
But before we jump to the collection and talk about that, uh, Parmigiani on the dial is a new look of PF with Parmigiani
Yeah.
moving. What was the reason for that?
Well, you see in both collections, because the Tonda PF that we launched in 2021 and the first design that we did was a micro rotor, so the most simple one, is a quest for a very understated style, very pure in the thinking, in the idea, but very rich in the making. No? So you have techniques which are not very present in the eye, they're subtle, but they give you this flavor, no, of interesting treatments. And the same thing has been done on the Toric. So the two collections are very consistent in the style, with this minimal approach to displaying. It's very pure, very fresh, and but with a different feeling, because one is a sport elegant watch, the other is a more of a dressy watch, and very not, I wouldn't say formal, because it's moving the elegance of a gentleman in towards a more sartorial approach to beauty. No? These two dials are very consistent, done in a completely different way, but they transfer this allure of the brand, which is very gentle and very elegant and very pure.
And congratulations, because the year 23 has been brilliant. Units sold are 3 times, and your revenue has grown 5 times.
5 times since the
Yeah,
arrival.
so
Yes.
congratulations. How did this happen? How did this growth happen? And what do you think is the reason for this success?
It's in the clientele, because the brand, when I found the brand in 2020, it was in its worst moment. It was our worst year ever, and 2023 was our best year ever. So in 3 years, this turnaround has been done because the brand was prestigious, and in the mind of a collector, of a connoisseur, Parmigiani was always up in the Olympus of what watchmaking is about. But we were missing a collection that was encountering the appeal of today's world. No? So we worked on the identity of the style, and once you give to a connoisseur a Parmigiani which is well made, designed in an elegant way, which is fresh, it immediately reactivated the brand. And this,
Would you say that Tonda is responsible for this? Are you saying that?
The product is responsible for
Yeah?
this. Yes,
Okay.
because we have put the product at the core of our value proposition.
Okay.
In luxury, a lot of people think that it's about storytelling. It's about, yes, everything is important, but you cannot not put the watch as a protagonist of what you're offering, no? And this is the most important thing. And connoisseurs are able to discern, are able to understand the content that you put in a watch, the identity of the style. Don't buy a Parmigiani as your first watch. You already done your experience. You're knowledgeable. It doesn't mean that you're elder, and because we are encountering a lot of appreciation in people that are in their 30s, in their early 40s. So it's a young clientele, but educated, and that knew that Parmigiani was a prestigious secret, if you want, of the industry. And coming from a previous experience where we had to reposition a brand that didn't have a watchmaking legitimacy, that is a path that takes decades. And I was surprised by the reactivation of Parmigiani Fleurier in such a small amount of time, because that pedigree of watchmaking legitimacy is already there, And once you give a watch which is appealing, which is right for the public, and is true to the brand, it blossomed by itself. And in 2022 already we had doubled the business. In 2023 it had grown even further. So it's something that I'm very proud of, because it's
Congratulations,
very pure,
yes, absolutely.
but it's what I'm most proud of is speaking to an end customer and understanding why he loves it, and
Yes.
the return is it's not it's a personal choice. It's a watch that is not mainstream. It's a watch that is not well known. So I feel a person among the few, and then the style is done in a way which is very it's appreciated by people who are not there to show off their wealth.
So does Toric Collection reflects
Yes,
the
very much.
same DNA as Tonda? So did you involve the customer feedback before? I mean, how does the design team come about that this is what we need to follow
the
to make
Toric
sure
was
that
the original collection. Michel did the Toric first,
okay,
then he did the Tonda.
okay,
I chose the Tonda PF to work on because it was right for 2021, and it was what was more, if you want, in what people were buying: a metal watch, bracelet, a sporty, elegant watch, done in an expedite way. It was the quickest thing that we could do, and it was
Okay.
the right thing to do. But then watchmaking is much more, and Parmigiani is much more than a sport chic collection. And when we came out with the Tonda PF, a lot of clients were asking us, "Oh, I would love that you could do the same work on the Toric and refresh
Okay.
what you were born with."
okay,
It's a much more difficult exercise because the Toric is a classic aesthetic, very
Yes.
formal,
yes,
and formality in today's world is different. So I'm not interested in expressing an aesthetic which is stiff and classic and conservative. We are moving forward the aesthetic codes for masculine elegance, and it took us much more time to design the Toric. I think it's going to take 2.5 years from when we started working
To the
when,
final product.
to have it on the market, because the watch is going to arrive in September.
oh, it's
So-
not available. These pieces
No, we're
that
presenting now, but,
but it's-
we build our waiting list in
In
these
September.
months. In September, we will deliver.
the Tonda PF skeleton is a new one, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
we did. The skeleton was launched in 2022 in steel and gold. Steel with anthracite movement, as well as the gold, the pink gold. Very successful and very appreciated for the purity of the design. The mechanics is extremely readable at the eye of the owner. And now we decided to go to platinum. And to
yes,
do
yeah,
it
to
with
the
a blue
platinum.
movement, a blue Milano movement, which copes with the platinum very well. So there's a sentence that I like a lot in Michel, and Michel says the technique is beautiful.
Technique is beautiful.
And this is a true example of how technique
Technique
can
is
be
beautiful.
beautiful.
Yes.
And it can give you an emotion for who wants to appreciate the mechanic from the dial side. The lovers of the skeletons is quite a specific community of people. And it's very difficult to do a very readable skeleton, because it's difficult to have the hands on top of the mechanics and make them readable. And in this occasion, I think we did a great job in making the owner read the time very, very easily.
And the Toric one has a very nice polish on the dial.
Yes.
I do not know the technique, but the dial itself, it adds, it's illumination. It's very illuminating, but it also adds depth.
Yep.
At the same time, it's very simple and
Yep.
very elegant. So,
But
what
that's on
would you say
purpose.
about
That's on purpose, because the style of the brand being subtle. It's like the PF that has the guilloche, but it's so small that you almost don't see it. But it's like having a texture that makes the dial interesting. So
True.
it's not invasive to the eye when you read the time, so it doesn't warn you out. But it gives you this feeling of quality, of attention to details. And the technique of what we did on the Toric is amazing, because it goes back in the 19th century, and it is grené main. Grené main French means that you are creating a sort of grain on the gold. The dial is in gold.
Yes.
And through a technique of brushing by hand with some chemical products that you mix in a secret formula that Michel has recovered, you are creating this abrasive texture that creates this granularity of the surface.
That's
Okay, and that's what you call
gives the
grain
total effect.
So it's this brushing gives you a matte finishing that you can then color. So the color that we chose was either a green dial color on the platinum or
You're wearing what, yeah?
the sandy gold version here. And every element is done in order to convey a sense of purity. In the 50s and the 60s, you used to have dials, the vintage dials that were diving at the outside of the dial. They were flat on the center and then they curved towards the outside.
Yes.
And this gives, and you see this outline in
Yes.
gold
Yes.
is where the dial is flat is until this outline in gold, and you have like a cut of the surface, and then you have a curved minute scale on the outside. So this is a modern interpretation of these chevet dials of the 50s, of the 60s, and the gold is in the dial. The gold, this outline is taking out the treatment that you did through brushing by polishing it again, and every element that you see here is part of the gold that is beneath the surface. So the dial is in full gold.
But this one is also having a different color of gold. It's to do with the copper content, but I don't know. This is like a pink gold?
It's pink gold. The dial is in pink gold too.
Okay.
And then you color the surface that I explained to you before.
Okay.
And then you make, again, the gold come out by taking out the surface where you want the outlines. And you want to, even the small seconds has the drilling of these 4 markers. Basically, it's the gold beneath the treatment that comes out again because you're taking out the treatment to show the gold. So it's extremely difficult to make, but very simple to look at. So this tension between purity and simplicity of the effect coped with a very complex and traditional art of making the treatment is part of the emotion of this watch.
When would you say this watch can be worn? Like if you had to style and you want to give audience a style tip, when do you think this watch is perfect to be adorned?
Well, this is a watch that can be worn in a different way than a dressy watch. Usually a dressy watch is formal. This can be formal, but it's so fresh in the colors and the materials that we use. The Namuk alligator strap is very soft at the touch. So it can be worn also in a decontracted way of dressing.
Casual way.
It can be a casual
Casual
wear.
and a formal.
Yes, but it's not a casual. You can wear it also, but I wouldn't see this watch on a streetwear outfit. I would see it more on a casual outfit, but still refined.
Which is your favorite watch so far?
I have a soft spot for the micro rotor in the PF.
Micro rotor, okay.
But this is also very important because these 2 watches are the father of their own collections.
Sure.
So that's the most difficult thing to do, to nail a creativity in the simple movement of just an hour-minute, in this case also hour-minute-second. That's the most complicated thing to do in design. And I think these 2 watches are a true expression of what the brand should be.
So how many pieces now y'all produce? Because earlier I know that there were like 5,000 to
the brand
10,000.
The brand has reached bigger numbers when the price point was lower in the past, but I'm not interested in producing thousands and thousands of watches. We're not disclosing how many pieces we do, but it's few thousand pieces. It's not 10,000, it's not 1,000, but it's few thousands, and it's not really important if it's 3, 4, 5. That doesn't really make a big difference. The important thing is that what you are putting on the market is in line with what the people are wanting, and you don't overdo and you don't oversell. That's the cancer of watchmaking, is to push the sell-in and to make a short-term approach to watchmaking. We have to grow at the rhythm of the sell-out and who is the end customer who is buying us.
So what are you wearing today? Like in terms
Well,
of your
it's a
shoes,
classic
your
suit.
clothes? What is it a brand or it's
No,
something you like it?
it's not a brand.
Okay, it's something which you like it.
Yes.
Okay.
It's.
But you are comfortable in pairing with this
Oh
watch.
yeah, of course.
Not a problem.
Oh, this watch can be worn in many colors. It's
Okay. It's
it's
having
very passepartout. The
pastel colors, right?
these colors are neutral, so
Neutral,
they,
yeah.
they can be matched very well. Usually, I don't match more than one color, so one or two is already a lot. Three is too much because you have to be consistent, and elegance is also about not doing too much.
Okay.
And then what is important to know is that men dress in a way which is a convention that is now lasting. I'm talking about the Western world.
Yes.
That is lasting now 200 years. So the fact the suit, the shirts, is a way that we dress since the Industrial Revolution. No? And it was a way which created a sort of uniform. No? And also the black color came along with the 19th century because black was a very rare material because very difficult to produce and to last. And when you used to wash a black cloth in the 19th century, it became gray very quickly. So only the rich could really dress black. You know? And that was a certain way of prestige. That's why tuxedo is black. You know, the most prestigious color in the 19th century was black. And it was also very consistent. So throughout decades, black remained the formal color. And watchmaking goes along with that because formal dressy watches were usually with a white dial and with a black glossy strap. And if you wanted to add some twist, you might wanted to go on a brown. But that's where men has been wearing watches classic with these two colors for the whole 19th century. Now there is a comeback of sartorial wear, especially in wealthy young people, especially from Asia, which are discovering the craft, which are discovering the pleasure of dressing up well, but not in a stiff way. So that's what you
dressing up well, but not in a stiff way.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you mean by that?
I mean that even if you're wearing a suit or even if you're wearing a shirt, the fabric, the quality of the culture of what you're wearing can be very high, but it can be not formal in a way which is stiff, which is rigid. It can be very relaxed, it can be very comfortable, it can be, but still very elegant, without being classic and a uniform. So this trend is very interesting because it's not a fashion. This is really rediscovering the beauty of dressing well, without being formal. And usually you do your own. You go to tailors. You do your own. You choose your own cloth, your own fabrics, and it becomes a personal choice. And people who are educated like this, who know what real style is about, are not fashion victims. They're not going for what is the brand designing. They're really developing their own style, mixing and matching, following their own choices. And this watch goes very well with that.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Guido. Well, India is happening. If you want to give a message to Indian,
Well, yes, it's true. And in India is everybody's speaking about India as the next thing. I truly believe in that too, and I hope that what we are doing encounters the appeal of a few sophisticated Indian customers.
yeah,
And there you have a lot of education on that. for
Yes, thank you, Guido. So, it was so interesting to have a chat with Guido. Guido is always so very impressive. What I love is the new pieces from Toric Collection, especially in the rose gold. Anyways, we have much more to discover at Watches and Wonders. See you then. Thank you for now.